What's going on, guys? In this training video, we'll be going over setting up your agency correctly. So we're inside of the building your agency section inside the academy. And before we dive into the nuts and the bolts and finding your niche and picking out, exactly what types of services you're going to offer, how to price those services, how to find businesses, all the good stuff, I want to go over how to set up your agency correctly. Now, I get a lot of people get super excited, especially if they've already had results maybe with these skills before in affiliate marketing and e-commerce and a physical product, or maybe even had some results with maybe a client before and they're really ready to set up an agency, but they just don't think about the legal stuff when it comes to setting it up. And what I mean by that is the biggest thing is setting it up by an LLC or C Corp or an S Corp. Now, I recommend an LLC, but that's just my opinion. Now, the biggest thing is when you come to set up your agency is that you want to have an identity or a brand behind your agency. You want to be able to stand behind a company and feel comfortable approaching businesses with your brand identity. What I mean by that is a name of your company. You got to figure out a name, maybe even a small logo. Now, it's not super important that it has to be exactly what you want, because down the road you might end up wanting to change your identity as you come to scale or bring on new employees or even business partners. So it's not super important, but it is important when you first start out. Now, that's the first thing, guys, is you want to build your brand, your identity of your agency. Now, the second thing is going to be your LLC, or like I said, your S Corp or C Corp. Now, you don't absolutely have to have this set up exactly when you get started in your agency. You can take on one or two clients and take some payments before you set it up, but when it comes to tax purposes, when it even comes to becoming a legitimate business, you want to have an LLC, because without an LLC, you cannot start a business bank account. You cannot get a business credit card. You're not an actual business at that point. When some company or potential client's going to look you up, they're not even going to see that you exist because you're not a legal company. And what happens if you go to make $100,000 that year? Are you going to be a sole proprietor? Okay, cool, but you're going to come to a lot of tax issues and not being able to write off a lot of stuff. And at the end of the day, you want to do it correctly. You don't want to half-butt something. You don't want to just treat this like a hobby. You're going to get hobby-like results. So if you're going to set it up correctly. Set it up with an LLC, or C Corp or an S Corp, whatever you decide. Do some research. LegalZoom is an awesome website to go to that will help you with your LLC, all your business information, even contracts and agreements, even hook you up with an attorney if you need one, if you don't have one in your local area. Now, the next thing, guys, once you have that LLC, is you want to open a bank account. And the reason being is because you want to have all of your monthly costs and expenses linked to that bank account. And also, you want to have a bank account so you can link your payment processor. How you get paid if you're using Stripe or you're using PayPal to send invoices with. You need to make sure that you have your account hooked up. So when it comes to onboarding a new client, sending somebody an invoice, you can send it, they can pay it, it goes directly into your account. And then again, you have all of your expenses coming out of your account, your Facebook ads, your ClickFunnels, your CRM, all these different types of services you need to have come out exactly from your bank account. So one, you're not using your own personal money and bank account. And two, when it comes to tax benefits and write-offs, everything's coming from your account, so it's easier to track, and you look legit and you're a legit company at that point. So you need to come up with a brand identity for your company. You need to set it up legally with an LLC. You need to set up a business bank account, and if you really want to, you need to set up with business cards. Set up with a website. Now, you don't absolutely have to have business cards. You don't absolutely have to have a website. But as you go to scale, it's very important to have a professional website, to have professional business cards, to have a professional business name and brand identity, to have a professional business bank account. You know, even if you're going to scale your business and you're trying to spend $15,000, $20,000 a month in advertisements for your own business, but you don't have the funds or don't want to spend your own funds because you don't have an LLC set up, and you have to spend your own funds because you don't have an LLC set up and you don't have access to a business credit card, you know, there's always going to have some sort of issues you run into if you don't do it correctly. Don't set up, especially with the LLC, a business bank account. And again, if you need to find a attorney or a lawyer in your local area to help you with some of your documentations, if you have any questions, it might be smart to find somebody like that. But again, you don't absolutely have to set this stuff up right off the jump, but I do highly recommend to do it off the jump. And regardless, you will have to do it down the road, so just get it knocked out ahead of time so you're a professional business, you're ready to go, and you can start onboarding clients immediately. So that is the training video inside of the Building Your Agency, inside of the Academy. Let's dive in now to the videos all below and the sections below to the in-depth training inside of Building an Agency.